Namaste everyone, Rohit here from IndieOneUp, and we are going to see the performance improvements and new features that Windows May 2020 update brings to the table. Although it is advised never to install the update as soon as it becomes available, I went ahead personally to check on the performance improvements and to let you guys know what those features are and how to enable it. Let's have a look at the performance improvements and then we will move towards the feature updates. Just before we move on to the synthetic benchmarks, I would like to draw your attention towards the Task Manager. Here is the picture of Task Manager while opening an app. When you look at the CPU usage, you will see that it has been raised to 100%. That means all of my cores are getting used to the max whenever I try to open an app. And this is only for the first time. This isn't a new thing that has been added in the Windows 10 May 2020 update, but it seems to be performing even better than before. Since we are here already, have a look at the cosmetic changes in the Task Manager. You can now see that the hard disks are labeled as SSD, USB and USB. Also, the GPU is now showing temperature. Moving on towards the synthetic benchmarks, we have Geekbench 5 benchmarks. These are my CPU scores and these are the detailed CPU score breakdown. I did this benchmark 3 times just to make sure that what we are seeing is the actual result and we can average it out accordingly. All of these benchmarks were performed just before the update to make sure we have a fair comparison between before and after OS updates. Next, two results for the CPU benchmarks. These are the OpenCL benchmark results for my NVIDIA GTX 970 GPU. And next two results for the OpenCL benchmarks. Now what we are looking at are the results after the OS update. Geekbench 5 CPU scores and OpenGL GPU scores after the OS update. If you look closely at the results, you will find that there is a consistent improvement in all the benchmarks. It's just the GPU results were a bit down than previous ones, so I decided to do benchmark for 4 times and I saw a consistent improvement in the result, leading to same as previous or better results for OpenCL benchmarks too. To get a taste of all the features, you need to install this particular Windows update. It could be a pretty hit and miss technique by checking Windows update again and again until you find this option. I particularly myself had to try 5 times to get to this option and it failed on the very first try but got installed in the second trial. When you successfully downloaded the complete update, before restarting, you should create a restore point. Once the update is completed and your system restarts, you will be greeted with this screen. Once in this screen, select this third option and you will get all the kinds of tips, even those that I haven't covered in this video. Check accordingly what you use. If you check the first one, what's new, then you will get the more prominent features. Few of the improvements in this list includes login improvements, cursor improvement that provides you with color changing cursor, and the third one, the snipping tool improvements. Windows Cortana got some improvements too, but Cortana, being brutally honest with me, she's busy somewhere else. But let me tell you, it's now more of a app-based UI and chat-based UI. Now to enable new features, head towards the Windows settings and type in Windows Search Settings. Here you can use this new option Enhanced for more indexes. Once you click on it, you will see that there is a list called Pending getting created. And these pending items are then created to the actual index list, as you can see. Under Update and Security, in the recovery, if you have internet connection on, and in the reset this PC, when you are connected to the internet, you will get this cloud download option. You can now download the Windows to its latest version with all the updates installed when trying to use a recovery. If you go to Delivery Optimization tab under Advanced Settings, you will find that there are now more options to control Windows Update bandwidth. You now have absolute control over how much data speed should be and data should be consumed in a given duration by Windows Update. If you visit the sign-in options in settings, you will see that there are now more options for signing purpose, third-party authentication methods, and a new dynamic lock method. You now also have an option for restartable apps when you sign out and sign in, making your shutdown more like hibernation. And at last arrives the most interesting of all the settings, hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, which reduces latency and improves performance when your graphic card is involved in the equation. To enable this setting, right-click on your desktop and go to Display Settings. Scroll down to the Graphics settings. Here you should be able to find the option if your graphic card supports it and you have WDDM 2.7 enabled driver installed, which stands for Windows Display Driver Model. You can check the version of WDDM driver with the dxdiag command. Just press Windows plus R button on your keyboard, type there dxdiag and hit enter. Here in the display tab, you will be able to check the WDDM driver version. You need to make sure that you have 2.7 installed for that GPU scheduling to get enabled. It also have some kind of requirement. For example, I have the latest version of Windows. I have the WDDM 2.7 drivers, but it looks like I am missing something else, or NVIDIA hasn't added the support for Maxwell GPUs yet. So try that out. If it works for you, enable it and get your performance boosted. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Comment, like, subscribe, and join me on Patreon. The link is in the description.